What's up, gamers? We're going to be talking about Snapfire, and I'm going to be showing you two different ways to play the hero currently. Very weird hero. I do think it will most likely be nerfed. I think it's strong. However, people are still figuring it out. Personally, I don't think this hero is a support. I know Dota says it is. I don't think so. I think it needs way too many levels to be a support. I don't think its E is very viable as a support. Like, sure, it reduces attack speed, but the thing is, you have a talent that literally is like, Little Shredder uses your attack damage, so that doesn't sound like a support ability to me. Overall, all I'm saying is, I recommend playing this hero offlane or mid, and I'm going to be showing you two different ways to play him. One game actually offlane, so, it'll be around 5 to 6 minutes of each. One game offlane, one game mid, and let's get into it.
The mid lane role is for star players, which is why at gameleap.com we designed an in-depth course teaching you every trick and concepts pro players abuse to crush the middle lane. There's no better role than mid to solo carry your ranked games, so hit the discount link in the description below to unlock your unfair advantage with gameleap.
So first things first, I want to talk about actually what I think you should be buying on this hero. I'm still trying to figure it out. For this game, I wanted to go right click and play around my Little Shredder. And for the laning stage, I actually don't think my starting item build is very good. I recommend you buy Soul Ring very early. I think it's super strong in the hero. I think you should be replacing these branches, most likely for something along the lines of Gauntlets of Strength that you can later build into the Soul Ring. Moving on, after that, I think Maelstrom is very good if you're going to be maxing out your Little Shredder because it actually procs a lot with just the amount of attacks you get, right? So it's overall pretty solid, and that's generally what I'll be recommending. However, max out your Scatter Blast. This ability is only a 10-second cooldown, which is pretty good, and it does a ton of damage for pushing in waves and jungling, considering you get a 50% extra bonus damage, meaning it goes all the way up to around, I believe, 435 total damage if they are in the cone of the blast. So yes, max out Scatter Blast regardless of which build you're going, solely based on the premise that this is your ability to lane shove. It is very good in lane, and I don't think Little Shredder, even with the Javelin, is that strong. I think it is much better once you get that Maelstrom so that you can start farming. I didn't go Maelstrom this game. Obviously, I'm still testing, and I've been watching a lot of games to figure out what I think is good and what I'd recommend in this video, but yeah, let's check it out. Okay, so let's talk briefly about the spellcasting of this hero. Currently, I was 5-1 in this game, having a pretty solid game. You'll see my skill build's way off this game. Obviously, once again, it's testing. But what I recommend you do when you're playing this hero as an offlaner is do not overcommit to rotations. Now, of course, your hero is extremely good at defending towers because you have your ultimate, you have a bunch of long-range abilities. So in general, if you see an enemy team pushing a tower that you think is key to defend, specifically mid-tier 1, I do recommend if you have your ultimate to TP and consider fighting. But other than that, do not just consistently gank. You do not just want to gank. If you do not have your ultimate or it is on cooldown, you should be farming the wave. Do not look for fights unless you have your ultimate. This is the easiest way to look at the hero. Now, of course, can you do things without it? Yes, of course you could. That's just how Dota works. You can do whatever you want. But what I'm trying to say to make your game easy is if you do not have ultimate, do not fight and push in waves. You want to get farm, and you want a lot, and I mean a lot, of XP on this hero. You notice looking into this fight here, my support is getting initiated on. Unfortunately, my ultimate actually does get canceled out by the Nyx Spiked Carapace, but essentially what you want to be looking when playing this hero is to stay in the back line. Do not go in first, do not go in second, go in never. Actually, you just want to stay in the back, because you notice what I'm looking for here is to stay out of vision. Look how I play this, guys. This is my first game, but I understand the importance of vision on this hero. I immediately get into the tree line. I knew they were baiting my Grimstroke. He does a very good job of bringing them into an enclosed area, and then what we proceed to do is get a ton of AoE damage onto them. I managed to, eat the cookie. I completely missed with the cookie, which was a big fail, but I got a lot of Javelin procs with my E. And that's the purpose of this build. You rush a Javelin, you buy Phase Boots, which actually don't help very much with your Little Shredder. So I actually don't necessarily recommend getting the Phase Boots. I totally read the ability wrong. I recommend you more so rush the Maelstrom, or you buy Bracers just for some early game stats, in addition to the Soul Ring, which I mentioned. But you notice after that fight, what do? I don't continuously look to gank. I make sure it's a main priority of mine to continue to push in waves and farm. Do not get caught up in fighting, even though, yes, this hero is very good at fighting early game, does a lot of damage, has a stun, you have that Javelin. Yeah, it's pretty insane, but the thing is, your ultimate is just the key for dominating these early game fights. And that's why I don't like him as a support, because frankly, I don't think if you don't have your ultimate, I don't like the hero in general. So it just feels a lot better to me if you're able to play around your ability to, use ultimate to fight and then other abilities to farm. Okay, just to briefly talk about general items. Now, I think this build is a bit whack. I'll mention why I went this and if I think it's good or not. No, I don't think this is optimal. I'm still figuring things out. I think this build is okay. However, I will say that I think the Mindbreaker is very, very good on your hero. right? Because you get 30 mana break from this item, and then you get to hit them, for whatever it is, 6 attacks. So you actually burn 180 mana. It's pretty significant. You can even buy a Diffusal Blade and stack that on top. And if you happen to get both of these items, you can actually burn 80 mana per attack, which is very insane. That's a lot of mana burn, considering, certain heroes that's all the mana they have. If I hit a CK with that, it's 80% of his mana pool if I have both. So I actually think I should have considered that this game. Could have been really high value for just taking certain heroes out of the fight. Regardless, once again, team fight breaks out. It's very advantageous for us. We have a complete numbers advantage. But really, all I want to say is stay on the outside. Do not get caught up in the middle of the fight. Do not use the W on yourself. Do not hop in with yourself unless it is a very niche scenario, which I will be showing later on. But for the most part, please, like here, I use it on myself because he's alone. But for the most part, stay in the back and pump out spells. Do not try to frontline. Do not look at this fire snap cookie as like, oh, I gotta go in. Cast it on your teammates and tell them that you are doing so. Upcoming here is one of the only scenarios that I actually recommend you use it on yourself. We were trying to gank a puck in the top lane, and yes, you can actually use it to catch your opponents off guard and sort of, just like flank them. So I know it's very hard for us to kill a puck, right? We don't have like a lot of instant disables. So what I do is coming out of the tree line, I use the cookie on myself. We jump in, we get the stun, which set up for the silence and a follow-up kill. Right, so that is really kind of the only scenario I'd look to do that. For the most part, you do not want to be doing it on yourself. But those quick little ganks where it's hard to use it on your teammates in that tense scenario, pop it on yourself, secure the kill. Next up, what I want to say is, I think if you're going this right-click build, please buy a BKB. Your ultimate gets canceled by silences and stuns. I don't believe it gets canceled by taunts or roots unless they have fixed that or changed it or that was intentional. So make sure you're buying a BKB so you can get your max duration ultimate off, or so you can just simply stay alive. People will try to jump you. You do a lot of damage. You just have to stay alive. Don't buy greedy items, right? You notice I have mostly a defensive build. MKB was, for offensive purposes, but then I go the Dragonlance BKB to sort of stay in the back. And you notice in this fight, it didn't end up going too well. Considering we didn't have our Sven alive, I think it went fine. But for the most part, I'm able to almost solo kill CK. Their CK. Their hero with like 3,000 HP. Look at him. Look at his HP. It's like... it's so much damage. And last thing I want to say is your hero is very good at pushing out waves, so make sure you do that. You're going to notice that I'm across the map from my team right now, but I actually have no problem running to them, only for the sole purpose that my hero likes to show up to fights late to some extent. Overall, this is a pretty good looking fight for my team. We get a pick off on the techies. However, my Sven's BKB is out, so it's not necessarily that amazing. Regardless, you'll notice I'm coming in from the side. I know that my hero is just very dominant in these scenarios, and then all I'm going to do is cast my ultimate from basically across the map. All of a sudden, CK dead, and this Giga HP Pudge also dead. And yes, that is simply the power of your hero. It is okay to come in late. It's great to shove in waves, because when you shove in waves, you'll get not only a lot of gold and just be able to get a lot of XP and get, your full talent tree, which is insane, but also what you get is just naturally good positioning, because you will come in late, you'll be in the natural position you want to be on this hero. So please, guys, for me, push in lanes and have no problem showing up to fights relatively late, because your hero's ultimate, if it's enabled to get off, you will win the fight. That is the main key to this hero. Show up late and make sure you can get a good ultimate off, and you will do well, even with this right-click DPS build, which is why I'm more so a fan of the next build I'll be talking about, but I do think somewhere in the middle is probably optimal. Regardless, let's get into it. Alright, just to talk about mid Snapfire for a bit, because I actually do think I like mid a little bit better than off lane. Don't quote me on that. I think there are aspects of the offlane that make me think it's better for the offlane, but I only play 2 games, so it's really not based off that much information. Really, what I will say is that when we're playing mid, take your Q and secure the range creep. It's like any other hero. If you're not doing this yet, if you have a nuke, you should be securing creeps. Right? I do it on the melee creep there just because I want to get a creep advantage. First wave doesn't necessarily go in my way. I think Puck is just a very strong hero right now, 68 base damage, a very good laning stage. But overall, we'll see how I actually manage to beat this guy in lane. So completely ignore my starting item build. You guys are going to be like, Speed, you're the worst player I've ever seen after you hear what I have to say. But I, for some reason, thought this hero was agi. Does it not look agi? Why is this hero strength? Regardless, don't buy slippers, buy gauntlets. Talking about the early laning stage in the mid lane, I actually do recommend you go for this build. I personally really like this. Do I think it's the best? I'm not so sure. I'm still figuring things out, but what I will say is this build is probably the best for harass. Your little Shredder max, in combination with the Scatterblast, it means you don't have to spend as much mana casting 3 spells, and in addition, they'll be much, much better, and both of these spells are very good harassing. You can use the E to actually drop your opponent's attack speed, which is great for just getting last hits and making the situations come up where you want to get denies. So overall, yeah, I think the E is extremely good in combination with the Q, and overall, if you take both of them and spam them with the Soul Ring plus Mangoes, you will be in a very, very solid situation to actually win the laning stage. Next up, I'm going to show you why this hero is baroque, but basically, I hit 6 before he does, and I know if he hits 6, he can cancel my ultimate, right? And as a result, I want to use my 6 before he can do that. So what do? I do that. That's all I do. I'm like, yes, I'm going to use my 6. I wanted him to orb first, but once he did that, I just kind of shot his things. I think he could have coiled me or Waning Rifted me here. I think he just panicked and didn't do it for some reason. But like, okay, he actually did coil me here, but it was too late at that point, right? He has no idea what's coming. Frankly, I should have went a bit earlier just to make sure that that couldn't happen. He could have even Waning Rifted me, but like, that's the thing about these new heroes. No one knows what's going on. No one knows how they work. So basically, if you hit 6 before your opponent, just start lobbing it on. I don't know why this ability is just so funny, and then I finish him off with the extra attack range from the E. But like, I don't know, this hero's ultimate is just comical, and it's the reason why it's just good mid. If you hit 6 before them, you hit them with the slow, and then you just start blasting them with the ultimate, and it's kind of just easy money at that point. But really, at this point, once you get to your level 7, you just can push in the lane very effectively. I do end up getting ganked in this situation, but you'll see this comical scenario go down. The puck obviously gets hit by my Q, but not realizing that, he gets bapped. And yeah, now we have the Fairy Fires. People hating on Fairy Fires. I don't know, man. Kept me alive there, so easy Fairy Fire. I do believe the Riki ended up going on me here. However, I get the regen rune, and now in this situation, once again, we got the Mango, we got the Fairy Fire going on. We pop both of them. Bop! 327 damage. Yay! I don't know why I used my glob thing here. At this point of this hero, I didn't know the glob could be in close. I didn't know the glob didn't work in close range. It does not, guys. You cannot glob on top of yourself, so make sure you only glob if they're out of range. I should have used my E. I didn't know at the time. Regardless, I did not die because fortunately I had a wand. I popped my wand, I popped a Fairy Fire, and then this guy panicked. It didn't hit me, so very cool. Coming up here, we call it the Cookie Gang. We just bake a nice little tray of cookies, and we hit them up with a flank. 100% slow, 1 second, out of nowhere, men on the Snapfire. We jump in, out of nowhere, bang! 2-man stun. I mean, that's just beautiful. So if you're trying to use your stun, the only reason why I could use it there is because I knew I had my teammates back up, so I use it on myself and on a teammate. Also, we don't really have an initiator. If you look at our team, it just doesn't exist. So kind of have to, I have to make up for it. But regardless, use this build, in my opinion. I think it's very strong. I do think a Maelstrom would be mixed into here, which would be really, really nice. I think if they had no Clockwork and Riki, or even just Treant, I probably could skip the 4-staff. I felt like I needed it this game so I could position better. But regardless, a Maelstrom would be really nice in combination with the Veil of Discord, because it would be 20% increased spells, so it buffs your Maelstrom. It's good with the little Shudder, and you get a really nice mix of damage. And I really like the bots because it just lets you be mobile and move around the map. And as I was saying, I think you should be pushing in a lot of waves, jungling a lot of camps. I don't think I jungled nearly enough in this game, so I could get more items. But overall, I was pushing in a good amount of waves. I looked for a lot of kills this game, and the bots really, really help with that. In addition, they let you position very well, which is great, once again, for the team fights. And the last thing I want to say is make sure you're kiting back in the fights, guys. If you're not kiting back, you're going to run into a lot of problems of not being able to get your ults off. You're going to notice that I'm pretty patient with my ult. I don't just like here, right? It looks like, oh, I could hit 2 people. But why don't I cast it? Because I understand that kiting back and moving backwards is going to funnel the enemy team. It will make them clump up in an area. And that is going to allow me to actually get a better ultimate off. So my Veno pops the Giga Fairy Fire. And as a result of that, they're going to chase him. They funnel up. And now Puck gets the globber. I just spit on him. Frankly, it's. I'm not even gonna say what I think it looks like, but just really, this ability is insane. Kite backwards, let your teammates be the frontliners, and just glob them up. Because that, I don't know, it's just so strong. It's just so strong. I went for the 4-staff jump there, it didn't work, but regardless, this hero is very strong in my opinion. As long as you're kiting backwards and making sure you're getting your spells off. We got the triple kill. I wanted to rampage. It's not gonna happen. That's okay. But yeah, I think a build of this regard is broken. Also, by the way, guys, Helm of the Undying, not a balanced item. Not balanced. It is the best tier 2 neutral item right now, not balanced. So use it if you can get it. Oh, and then last but not least, of course, the Black King Bar, because I think you really need to be able to stay alive on Snapfire. You know what I mean? Your hero does DPS. You don't need DPS items per se, in my opinion. And finally, to end off the video, I'm going to leave you with a celebratory glob, whatever this ability is called, Mortimer Kisses Explosion, because who doesn't love a Mortimer Kisses explosion. Actually, I forgot to say the talents, guys. For the right-click talents, I recommend you take health, scatterblast damage, the Little Shredder uses your attack damage, and the Mortimer's Kisses launched talent. If you're going that right-click build I showed, don't go exactly the items. And for this magical build, I recommend going for 20 movement speed and just positioning very effectively. The Fire Snap Cookie restores 250 health. I think the Scatterblast is actually completely legitimate too. In fact, I think it's probably actually better if you're going Veil, so go 60 Scatterblast damage. Then you want to go for the 25 Mortimer Kisses because you're not actually using the Little Shredder for your attack damage. You're going to have Maelstrom, but the procs work anyway. And then finally, once again, 8 Mortimer Kisses launch. But let's get into the Mortimer, I feel like I'm saying that wrong, but Kisses parade. And, you know, we get the train out of position here. And I knew my man, he was about to get hit by the slow. And I give it all to him. We just unleash, we unload on Mighty Brow. That's what I like to do. I like to unload onto Mighty Brow. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please do like and subscribe as I absolutely did them all as Creep Wave. Because, you know, I'm excited for this patch. People will be hating. People will be saying like, this patch is so RNG. Like, I hate it. What do you mean it's RNG, dude? I'd still stomp all of you, alright? Like, if you played me in a match, I'd still stomp all of you, even if you happen to get, like, the best jungle items. Yeah, I would still absolutely demolish you in lane. So get good at the game, and then start complaining about RNG. I'm kidding. Actually, I'm not kidding at all. Bye. Peace.
Are you tired of being hard stuck at your rank? Over at gameleap.com, we have a library of hundreds of guides authored by pro players and coaches covering literally every aspect of Dota. Whether you're looking to master a new hero or role, or just polish up your existing skills, GameLeap is the proven place for competitive gamers to hone their craft and unlock their secret potential. Hit the link on screen right now, to take advantage of our special offer for a 25% discount, guys, 25%, and start your journey today.